Hey guys, guess what? I'm doing a video game. So before I tell you more about this game, I need to explain where it comes from, So back in 2009, I decided to make the jump into the world of animation, and I didn't know how. So I just grabbed this software that was on like Windows computers called Movie Maker, and used Paint and just did these really simple cartoons, which I'll probably show in screen right now. And I did this animation called Tony Rod. Just by looking at it, you can tell that I'm like discovering how to animate as I go on. Like first thing I do is like, can this character move from here to here? And afterwards, like I'm trying to figure out, okay, so can I make them talk? So like I put like a circle and then I remove it, I put it and remove it, I put it and remove it. It's like, okay, this is working. And how complex can I make everything? Can I have like multiple characters? Can I have like an action scene? Can I make like a rocket take off? Can I make like a meteorite explode? So when I was thinking what to do as my first game, I definitely wanted to make Tony Rod, my first game ever. Self-published. I have done a game in the past called Imp of the Sun, but like I did that with like a big company. This one is going to be something that I'm going to do by myself. I'm going to self-finance, I'm going to publish it, and yet I'm almost finished with the game. Yep, it's not just like me talking nonsense, I am almost finished with the game. I've been working on it for the past few months, and I want to tell you more or less the story of how this all happened. So basically I've done 3 versions of this game. The first one was a prototype I did in Little Big Planet, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a PlayStation game that also works as a game design tool. And yeah, thanks to the fact that I made this prototype, I know what the scope of this new game is. And I think that's really important, just to have like a good idea of where you're going to put most of your resources or your effort. Yeah, since I'm a narrative guy, I want this game to be focused on narrative. Yeah, the 2 main mechanics of this game will be dialogue and time traveling, which basically means that's where I'm going to put most of my effort. So yeah, like this also means that gameplay will remain simple, like basically you walk, you jump, the exploration map is kind of small. In terms of the graphics, yeah, I'm not going for hyper-realism. And I just want to quickly mention how important this point is, because finding the right scope I think is key. Even the simplest games can be really hard to make. And it's also really helpful for your production. Nintendo is great at doing this. Like for example, they always find the core mechanic of the games that they make. They don't try to like do everything, they just try to do specific things really well. Like Mario jumps, Zelda is about exploration, Star Fox is about space combat. So the second and third versions of the game, I actually worked on them while I was studying at Vancouver Film School. The first one is a version of the game made for Twine, which is this like HTML software for developing really simple narrative games. And yeah, so this version was mainly focused on narrative, on the story, on multiple choices. And the other one is a version of the game made for Unreal Engine, which is way closer to what I'm doing right now. However, since I was the one programming the game, and it's not my specialty, it has a lot of bugs, it's not really usable. And actually trying to work on top of that would have been a big headache, so yeah, like I just scratched that one. But yeah, like all of this laid out the ground for what would be the final game of Tony Rod, which is what I'm working on right now. So with all these prototypes, I had a really good idea of what I wanted. But of course, there's a catch. I am not a programmer. I am good enough as an artist, but I also didn't want to be doing every single illustration and piece of art for this game. So step 1 was identifying my strengths. I'm good at game design, narrative design, and I can compose music. Step 2 was to figure out who else I need. I needed one programmer, one artist, a music guy to help me with the mixing, and at least 4 voice actors. So yeah, this is where self-financing a game can become quite tricky, because if you're not careful, yeah, like costs will just pile up. So I suggest like opening an Excel document, just like calculating the costs, kind of like a worst case scenario, a best case scenario. In the case of this production, like the main thing that I needed, of course, was the programmer, because like we can basically just start the whole game just using like a blocky character. You don't need like the final art to start working, So before the programmer can start working, you have to explain to them your vision in the most like general and also technical way. Same logic as if you want somebody to build you a house, you just then go to them and say like, build it now, like I want a house. Like what you usually do is like get the schemes, discuss what you want, the specifics, how many bedrooms. You get what I mean. So in the case of this game, I had the luck of having done prototypes, so I had a really good idea of what I wanted. I just put it all in documents. I had like specific tasks that a programmer was going to work on. So all of this also plays into the game loop, which is basically what the player is going to be doing actively during the game. It's almost like a circle of activities, you know. And yeah, I'll explain how that looks in the game of Tony Rod. Just a warning, I'll spoil some things of the game, so if you want to go into the game like without knowing anything, just skip to this part of the video. Otherwise, let's keep watching. In the game you follow Tony Rod as he arrives to Cornville. You can choose where to spend the night, meet the townsfolk, make friends, enemies, basically whatever you want. But in the end, time will pass, and after 24 hours of your arrival, a meteorite will destroy everything. When you walk inside the meteorite, you'll find a time machine that will send you right back to the past, to the very beginning of the game. So your mission is to figure out in the short amount of time that you have, how to save everyone. So yeah, we worked with the programmer for 2 months, more or less, and it's not finished because we still need to polish some of the systems, we have to fix some of the bugs. But yeah, like the central systems are already finished, so that was great. While we were doing that, I was working with the artists, and yeah, there's just like nothing like seeing the game like start off so simple and then evolve into looking just like nice, you know, and for it to work.
All of this just works. It's not, I'm not kidding.
And as far as the voice acting goes, yeah, like I'm finished recording the voices. We didn't need the voices in the game for it to work, but right now we're like adding them. However, it takes forever because every single line that I receive I have to like cut, normalize, including the game, see if it's working, see if the volume is okay. It is harder than I thought it was gonna be, I'll be honest. It's way harder. I thought it was gonna be the easiest part and it's so boring. But I have to do it, you know. So also really important, if you're doing a game basically alone or with like a small team, I suggest you find somebody to test it out or to play it or to do some QA, because you'll be blinded, because you know the game from beginning to end, you know all the secrets, all the whatever, you know. Like in my case, I told my cousin Lucas, who had come to my country to visit. He lives in the US. I'd ask him like, hey, can you know, like spend a few hours, see if you like it. So yeah, get somebody to play the game, take notes, and then fix the bugs, fix the experience, whatever. So this is where I'm at in development. I'll probably do a part 2 sometime in the future, maybe showing some more gameplay or some other cool things that you might want to see. If I want you guys to take something out of this, is that yeah, like if you want to make a self-made game, please try to reach out to people that may know better than you. For example, in my case, I could have spent months learning how to program or made every single piece of art, but just by getting the right people, you know, and organizing production nicely, I was able to do all of this in around 3 months with a tight budget, and and it's one of the things that I wanted to do for all my life, you know. Like if you remember my Draw My Life, I have like a professional bucket list, and one of the things in that bucket list is self-publishing a game. So yeah, in short, I'm really happy with how the game is turning out. I really can't wait to show it to you all. Yeah, that's all for today. I'll see you next time.